All right, everybody, welcome to another hands-on with me, Chris Chinchilla. Now, it is wonderfully sunny here in Berlin today, which I'm not complaining about at all, but I have a giant window over here, and there's a train station over there, and the sun is reflecting into me, which is somewhat offsetting my usual light here. It's very hard to cover this light. I know any video professionals out there will say, just cover the windows. It's too nice to cover. I can't really move all the cameras around to show you, but it's too nice. And yeah, so the light's a bit weird today, but yeah, I can't complain. I'm getting a lot of sunlight today. I'm also trying a slightly different camera setup, a bit of a wider one. I mean, you're not going to see me for most of this. You're just going to see me in a small corner, so it doesn't really matter too much. So every week at, I've forgotten what time it is, 16:30, 4:30 p.m. Central European Time, that's UTC +1. I take a developer tool that I find interesting and have always wanted to try and see what I can do with it, see how it works. And today is no exception. This is something I have been looking to try for some time. Let's switch, here we go. This is Mermaid. Mermaid, I kind of saw mixed use of Mermaid or Mermaid.js or whatever, so I'm not 100% sure what it's officially called, but Mermaid. It's a tool that lets you create diagrams, and we can see Gantt charts here, flow diagrams, and all sorts of things using Markdown-esque syntax. This is interesting because I actually did a presentation on the weekend for a community tech writers group over in the States on docs as code that's kind of using Markdown, static site generators, things like that. And one of the things I repeated multiple times, especially to people coming from that community, is that Markdown has no real standard. And this is sometimes a problem, but again, in the case of something like Mermaid, it's actually kind of wonderful because you get these wonderful variants of Markdown like Mermaid. And for documentation, this is something that's quite nice. I mean, you have to add it, but you can have charts and diagrams that are version controlled. And images are certainly something that's very hard to keep up to date if you use binary files. This is kind of what Mermaid tries to solve. So I was really interested to see what I could do with it and see how I can get it set up in Visual Studio Code and a whole bunch of things like that. So this is the overall starting page. So a lot of things have, you can see here, a lot of editors and wikis have support built in. There's a live editor here, which is interesting. Overview for beginners. I need more collaborators, okay. Nominated for an open source award in 2019. That's nice. Flowcharts, cool. Sequence diagram, Gantt diagram, class diagram. I mean, some of this syntax is already getting a little kind of, I'm not sure how memorable it is, but Git graph, okay. Entity relationships, journey diagram, nice. All right. Let's jump into the getting started and see where we go from there, I think. So usually a good start. Is that readable? Make it a little bit bigger. Anyone watching has used Mermaid before, then please jump in the chat, say hi. Always nice to know you're there and your experiences, I guess. Just see. Cool. So it's using SVG, nice. Internet Explorer, I think it was using, okay. Beginners, there are 4 relatively easy ways. Live editor, plugins. Probably we'll start with the live editor, then I will attempt to use a plugin on Visual Studio Code. So let's open that in a new window. And I'll pop it over onto the right-hand side. A few people have asked me actually what I use for this because I just do these shortcuts. I'm actually using, it's a commercial tool, I'm afraid, a tool called, this one here called, I can't see the name for it. It's called, what's it called? Mosaic, that's what it's called. And you can define keyboard shortcuts to tile windows. I know if you're a Linux user, you're probably like, whatever, but that's one I use. There's a few available for Mac, but that's the one I use. All right, use the live editor. Plug in, host it on a page. Oh, you can host it on a web page. That's interesting. Download. Okay. Let's use the live editor. Great way to get started. The live editor in the code section. You can write or edit raw Mermaid code and instantly preview. So this is kind of what we have here already, I think. Not 100% what I'm looking at right now. I think this is a... not quite sure. Let's have a look. So this is a flow chart. So I think me zooming in has broken this a little bit. That's a bit, I'm not quite sure what this is here. Oh, it's a code overview thing. Okay, I wonder if I can get rid of that. That would be nice. No. Okay. So we can change configuration here. We can change the thing. This is not really a tutorial though. It's not telling me a massive amount. Let's just experiment then. So yeah, it's not really telling me how to actually create a diagram. Like, what does TD mean? Kind of not entirely sure. I can just play around here, but I'm not 100% sure like what things mean looking at this. I mean, this is probably because I'm using the live editor. Let's just maybe quickly try experimenting and then I'll sort of start from scratch, I think. So I'm guessing graph TD is needed. Maybe we will try. Okay, so I'm guessing A is a kind of a label. Okay, so oops, not clock, click, start button. Go live. I'm guessing the A's and B's are labels, maybe? No. So B can lead to C, which is... So we could say... What I'm trying to understand is what these labels mean, though. Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused as to what things mean. I guess we can dig in. Let's have a look. So this is a flow chart. Okay, let's come back to this later, maybe. Flow chart. Oh, diagram syntax intro. Let's start with that. So we read the getting started. So you know if it was the... Oh, okay. Hey, we've been fixing things quite a lot in this hands-on stream, so let's fix that. I mean, I'm assuming it's supposed to be the... I'm not 100% sure what the link should be. I think it's this. Yeah. Okay, let's fix that. Syntax. So that link is broken by the looks of it. Oh, that's cute. That's also broken. Okay. Where were we? How did we get to this? I think is there was a link that worked, and we'll just use that one instead. I'm These links are somewhat confusing. Am I getting a bit lost in trying to submit a pull request here rather than show you how to use? Maybe I'll come back to that in my own time. Okay, so this is in HTML. This is a live editor. Directives. This isn't really telling me very much. Overview. Oh, okay. All right. Maybe we'll forget about that link. Right. Flowchart. So this declares the graph is oriented from top to bottom. So TD or TB. That doesn't. Oh, I see. What's the difference? Is there a difference? No. Interesting. Not quite sure why there's top down, I suppose. I don't know. Interesting. Left to right. Okay. I wonder if we can do. Oh, orientation is here. Top to bottom, same as. And we can also do right to left. And we can also do bottom to top. That was kind of my question. Yep. Okay, that's nice. I think I actually like, oh no, left or right is what I want. I would kind of prefer those. More, right. To render this renders a flowchart that allows for features such as more arrow types, multi-direction arrows, linking to and from subgraphs. So a node, graph, right, ID. Okay, so that is just A. Yeah. Okay. A node with text, and then that's the curly brackets. Okay. Sorry, square bracket, not curly brackets. Nice. Node shapes. Right. This is starting to make sense. So let's do B. And we'll do, this is making a vague sort of sense in terms of syntax. I wonder if we can, I just want to start playing around with different types of brackets now and see what happens. A stadium shaped box. Okay, square and a node in a subroutine shape, a node in a cylindrical shape, a node in the form of a circle. Nice. Asymmetric shape. Does that mean I can just customize that as much as I like? I don't know. Let's see. No. Okay. All right. I guess like I could probably do that. Can I do that? No. So it's only, only that one is possible. Okay. This might change. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. There we go. A rhombus. Oh, that's the curly brackets. A hexagon. Okay. A parallelogram. Very nice. Centered parallelogram. A trapezoid. Okay, links. So we have arrow links or open links. Okay. So they have to be on the same line, I guess, which in theory could mean you end up with, I don't know, let's see. Otherwise that could get messy quite quickly. Oh, that works. Okay, good. And we can do like that too. Can we add space? No, space makes no difference. The white space makes no difference. Okay. I'm a fan of, well, actually, I'm not sure what I'm a fan of. There we go. Okay, good. Text on links. Right. Nice, nice, nice. So let's change that there. On the way. Cool. Okay. Our hidden text, dotted link with texts, thick link, thin link, chaining. Hello, Neil. I found a few broken links. You can have a look at those later. Now, what was I trying to figure out? I wanted to see how I can branch off. It's not. Oof. Hello. I'm trying to pick. I sort of know what I mean in my head when I've used a visual Actually, I mean, it was in the original example. We could probably just get that back. What I want is, yeah, something like this. What is it called? It's hard to know what it's called. It's the thing with graphing. It's this sort of thing. So the multiple branch. Oh, no, no, no. It's not quite what I mean. I think I mean, I don't know, child links maybe. Maybe I'm trying to do something that I don't even need to do. So multi-directional arrows. Okay. So you can, okay, that's good. This kind of stuff is cool. I find this quite useful for very visual things. I actually do a lot of, I can actually show you as an example. I actually use, Margin Note is a different application. That's not what I use. I always do this. I use MindNode predominantly. I like to kind of, before I start creating automation and things, I like to plot out what it's going to be. So this is actually my this is my mind map for my stream workflow. I don't think I'm going to attempt to recreate that right now, but that's sort of, yeah. So I actually quite like this sort of thing, and the ability to enable people to be able to contribute to, not that they'd want to contribute to that, but you know what I mean, is interesting. So I guess I wonder what happens though if we, okay, it evens out. Interesting. Nice. I think subgraphs. Oh no, that's nice. This is actually very good. So I do a lot of documentation on clustered systems. So this kind of thing is actually very useful, like showing you flow between nodes and things like that. I think we are currently using SVGs and ASCII art-ish, which gets broken quite easily. So that's this could be quite useful for us actually. Flowcharts. It's not okay. That's nice too. Interaction. So this is JavaScript interaction. That is actually cool. This actually brings back memories of, I don't know, any older people out there who have been doing web development for some time. When I used to work in my first websites, you had image maps where you would, oh my God, you used to cut out these images and you'd manually mark out regions that when people clicked, they would do things. This makes me think of that, but in a much nicer more modern web way, I think. Yeah, but that's actually pretty cool. So links is a very nice, simple example, actually. So tooltips. So B, for example, is a tooltip. C, is that tooltip? Okay, right. B, callback. Okay, and then a click. Okay, yeah. So you'd have to add that into an HTML page, I guess. Yep. Opening in new windows, etc., etc. Comments. That's nice. Styling. You can style inline by the looks of it. Yeah, that's useful. Classes, you can add classes. That's probably more useful, and then you add them later. This gets a little fiddly with Markdown, but you could also do it separately in a static site generator or something like that, I guess. Okay, and the font awesome, I think we saw in the original example here, down here, the car. I don't want to spend the entire time on flowcharts, so let's have another quick look. Class diagrams. This, yeah, I think that obviously requires understanding a bit more knowledge of classes, but that makes sense. State diagrams, somewhat similar to flowcharts. The Gantt chart is one that's quite interesting to me. I'm not 100% sure if I would want to embed this in a Markdown document, but maybe, I'm not sure. I wonder if you could integrate it with Markdown to-dos. Well, let's have a look. That could be interesting. Where is it? Gantt chart. This is the Gantt chart. Time. Although what it would do when you click it, I'm not 100% sure. maybe I'm getting beyond the point of a Gantt chart, I think. Yeah, I think I'm trying to do something that no one ever wants to do. That's fair enough. Pie chart, I was actually kind of interested to see how that looks. Okay, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's nice. So actually do the calculation and you could dynamically pull that in. That is nice, actually. I wonder what other options are available there. So this is an interesting thing with the documentation. It keeps taking you down a bit. It could be the fact I'm using Safari, who knows. And that's nice. And you could remove the key, I guess. I thought I saw, that's not, I thought that was a keyword for key. That's not. Can I disable the key if I wanted to? Don't see a way to disable the key. I guess I probably wouldn't want to, but otherwise the chart would be somewhat meaningless. You can tell I haven't made pie charts for a while. And an ER diagram, entity relationship. Okay, nice. All right, so that's a good start. We're 20 minutes in. So I'm going to have a look at integrations now because I'm not likely to use the live editor in a real world situation. So let's see how this can work now. Where do we begin? Let me think. See, adding Mermaid. I saw something about plugins, but Python. No, that's not quite what I want. I did see something about plugins back here, I think. Where was it? Integrations and usage, maybe? Interesting. So it's mostly in HTML things, which would make sense. Oh, editor plugins. Here's an editor. Oh, wow. Okay, we've got quite a lot. Preview, syntax highlighting, editor, export to PDF. Wow, there's actually quite a lot here. Let's have a look. Not all Visual Studio Code extensions are created equally. So let's have a look, especially at ones that are most popularly used, ones that are updated. So this one looks like it's reasonably frequently updated. So that's good. This one is moderately well updated. Does this does preview. Does it have syntax highlight? Well, syntax highlighting is probably a little, so this is syntax highlighting that has been updated relatively recently. Good. There's an editor. Ooh, this looks in depth. I think this is specific for just separated files, I think. Export. I think I'm going to start with, this plugin looks super useful, but it's getting off on a side topic, so I'm going to come back to that later. Let's go for this one and this one and this one, I think. So, all right, and we'll see where we go. Okay, so let me create a new file. I'm going to zoom in a little bit as always. Let's add some extensions. So we want this one, and yeah, those top two, basically. The top two most popular. Makes sense. Ooh, Mermaid plugin for draw.io. Now that could also be useful, but we'll come back to that one another time. Basically, a lot of people I work with like to use draw.io on Google Docs, and if we could get a sync thing going there, that would be super cool. Let's see. All right, let's go back, pick up an example from the live editor. Where were we? Live editor. Oh, I know why. It's already open over here. Okay. Let's go back to the flowchart. I like flowcharts, as already alluded to. I wonder if we're going to need any documentation for the, so that used the Mermaid code blocks syntax, adding custom CSS, Markdown styles documentation. Now that is something I have not heard of before. I don't know if I want to go down that path. And the preview is preview. Oh, that has, oh no, it's these two, isn't it? Let's stop. Okay. And that's just the syntax highlighting. We don't have to do too much there. Okay. Let's paste something in. Oh, we need to create the code block first. Okay, syntax highlighting is working, and let's get the preview. So as far as I can understand, it adds it to the built-in preview, which I think is what I'm using. I can't remember if I changed it. Oh, that is working. It's a little bit wonky in the rendering. I don't think, it could be, yeah, that's strange. Everything's kind of over to the right a little bit. I wonder why. Huh. That's interesting. Hard to know. I mean, this is just in my editor, so it doesn't matter too much, I suppose. Now, the interesting thing with tools like this is what will happen when other people start to read it. So this is great. I mean, I have Mermaid through my editor, through live preview, whatever, but that is not where people are necessarily going to read the documentation. So let's have a look at some of the other integration options. So text editors is not that useful. Google Docs. So document generation is where, yes, Doxy supports it. So native support in the theme. Now I do believe there's a theme I have been developing where I'm trying to remember if it added the Doxy support or not. Can't quite remember. Let's trying to think which would be the simplest one to get started with. In this case, Hugo and themes can be. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So let's firstly open up a terminal down here. Hope you can read that. Okay, so let's check I'm in the right directory. No. Okay. Let's Hugo made. I don't know, that sounds weird, but okay. Actually, I have done this the wrong way, so I have an opportunity to create a better name. I do believe it's actually, what is it? Hugo. I've forgotten what the command is. It's been a while since I've had to do it. New content. There was a way to create a new site. Let's go to the Hugo documentation. Getting distracted here, but we need to try and make this kind of part of a workflow. So I do go to the Hugo documentation a lot, so there should be something there. Oh, why did that take me back there? It's strange. It's weird. Sorry about that. Oh, it's better. Okay, getting started. Quick start. Hugo version. Oh, it was on the right path. Okay. All right. I will actually need that again in a second for adding a theme. So let's, because I can't remember how to do it anymore. Okay, let's do Mergo. Sounds better, maybe. Download a theme. So let's just Mergo, add a theme, add the submodule for Doxy. Doxy. So I see this as possibly one of the main drawbacks of something like Mermaid. There has to be support for it. And I can see a few things there which are very useful integrations, but that still depends on someone having it installed. But obviously, if you're rendering it to static site generator or something, that's okay. But let's just come to that in a second. I want to this is all I just want to add the theme. Doxy theme, like, there we go. Right, that's what we want. Personally, actually, I have found a better way to add Hugo themes, but let's not go there right now. That's this is not a Hugo hands-on. This is a Mermaid. And we'll add the theme. It's described here. And things are happening. Okay, so let's go back to that Mermaid docs. So we need to enable it in the config. I will, whilst that's doing its thing, it's taking a long time to do its thing, I will open this website or this project in a different window. What did we call it? This was Mergo, wasn't it? There we go. In the config, params, enable Mermaid, and themes and all sorts of things, which is quite cool. It's still doing things. I have a strange issue. This is not help Chris fix his Wi-Fi, but I have a strange issue where I generally do videos whilst on oh no, I'm on the Wi-Fi at the moment. That's bad of me. That's strange. I have weird issues with cloning from Git and NPM at the moment on certain internet. Who knows? Anyway, that's done. So let's take this and add it into a proper page. Okay. So hopefully, no, I do not. Hopefully we can serve this and that will work. I think I forgot about Hugo's peculiar way of wanting content. I can just put one in the top section, surely. Let's see. I think that was me. I always forget with Hugo and its slightly opinionated way of organizing things. There we go. So you did get that odd render flicker there. I'm sure there's a way to fix that. I hope. Yeah, it's no, it still does it slightly there. Interesting. I'm sure there's a way to fix that through Hugo or through something, but let's have a look actually in the Doxy. Not sure how we fix that. So the other one I was just saw there that could be an issue is GitHub. I mean, editing this sort of flavor of Markdown obviously requires a bit of a knowledge gap if you wanted it as from a contributor. If they could see it, that would be great. So I did see something here about, yeah, there's a Chrome extension for GitHub plus Mermaid. I'm guessing that is the only way. I think so. I think that would be the only way. As you can see, I don't generally use Chrome, but let's see. So that adds it. And what's this one? Oh, that's the one. Oh, this was the one I was actually GitHub Pages. Okay. And let's see. Does the Mermaid repository have well, we can look in the docs. I guess there'll be an example in the docs. Okay, that's the live editor. Okay. Oh, that was is that the docs? I just saw another repository for docs. Okay. Diagrams and syntax examples. So flowchart. So this obviously does not work. Or does it? It depends how this is in the document. Oh, so it is proper. Okay. Oh, I see. It's both ways. Okay, good. So let's try this. I will open this up in a Chromium browser. Add the extension. And let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. Let's take this page, which here in Safari just looks like nothing. Go to, oops. And let's see what happens. Yeah. I mean, it's not live, I guess. I don't know, maybe it is. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Good old two-factor authentication getting in the way on my live streams again. And back we go. No, oops. Back we go again. I think I took too long. All right. So if we try to edit it, what happens? No, okay, that doesn't work, but that's okay. I think that's reasonable. Just check. So it's looking for an HTML element. Okay, that seems reasonable. Okay, so I think that's probably one of the biggest issues with something like this is adding support everywhere, but that's the same with a lot of Markdown flavors. They're interpreted somehow. Yeah, so what's the wrap up here? I mean, there's a lot sort of deep we could go. It's interesting. There's obviously the sort of barrier of having to install something for it to work, but that's not that different. As I said, you know, I have some contributors to the open source documentation I work on, contributing SVGs, which, I mean, you can edit an SVG and whatever, but it's not ideal to edit an SVG in raw code. They could be using Draw.io, which involves someone installing it or signing up and that kind of thing. So any kind of option requires something to be installed. Obviously, one thing here is you'd have to install a couple of things across your toolchain. So in the text editor, in the static site generator, etc., etc. But if it's only ever going to really be you creating the document, creating the diagram, and then someone tweaks it and things like that, that's not too bad. I might actually try it. I do have some diagrams to convert, so I may give it a go. There's some really nice examples you could do here. I also start to wonder about some of the things that could be possible with automation. So for example, this pie chart would be a very simple one. You could pull in these numbers from somewhere. And I could even think how I could do this in Hugo with variables and have, for example, I don't know, YAML files of install numbers of a particular version, and then the pie chart just updates, things like that. Equally for pretty much a lot of these, you could use a Gantt chart maybe for a roadmap or something that is dynamically populated from some source. So there's a lot of possibilities there. There is API, which, how does that work? What sort of API? JavaScript API. Okay, not a HTTP API wouldn't make sense. So you could do things with JavaScript as well. I did see their directives. So overriding directives. Okay, right. There is a CLI. Let's have a look at that. See what possibilities that would offer. Okay, so that enables us to maybe not dynamically, but through command line and build processes generate in a similar way to how I just described, but in a different kind of way. Advanced usage. Okay. And so here's so GitLab has native support. Now that is interesting. Gitbook, Atlassian. There's a plugin, okay. Oh, this is where we already were. Discourse, all the various things there. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of kind of potential, I think. It's a matter of fitting it all together. Yeah, I did find a couple of broken links here and there. I will try and contribute those back when I remember where they were in a minute. And anything to see that little Octo-cat wiggle its tail again. That's I'm not sure if that's standard, but that's quite fun. Obviously, you can use this as a tool as well. I'm sure there's a way to run this locally if you wanted to. Actually, this is an embeddable link, which is kind of cool. And also just get it as an image and things like that. That's pretty cool too. So I think I will definitely give it a go. I'm not 100% sure in my own personal thing if I would replace something like MindNode. I don't know. MindNode actually lets you do, this is a commercial proprietary tool, of course, but it does let you do a sort of Markdown to get the images, nothing to the level of Mermaid. But then you get the kind of visual and the text in sync. Now that would be super cool. I wonder if anyone has made anything like that I could actually like go into here and change things and it updates. That would be cool. I don't know if that exists or not. It's open source, so anyone can make it. But yeah, it's interesting. I think I will definitely give it a go. Anyone else who has tried it and would like to give some feedback in comments on the video, please do. I would love to hear your examples, hear your efforts, where you hit problems, things like that. Leave a comment wherever you saw the video. So that was hands-on for this week. You could see my apology for the weird lighting has came. I didn't put on my other lights because it was so bright and now the sun is going down and I'm kind of one half in shadow. So thankfully, this is me wrapping up. Next week, I will be looking at Raycast, which is a new, so I use Alfred on my Mac as a kind of spotlight replacement to do commands and things like that on the fly and have custom workflows and things. Raycast is a new one that seems to have a lot of funding, and I'm quite keen to try it and see what it offers over Alfred. And the week after that, I'll be looking at Commander One, which is a combined file manager, FTP, cloud service manager. So I'm actually looking at 2 Mac tools the next 2 weeks in a row. No particular reason, just the scheduling. And the people from Commander One asked me to take a look, so I thought, why not? So if you're not a Mac user, the next 2 weeks may not be that interesting to you, unless Raycast decides to make a Windows or Linux client. That would be nice. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever you watched. Leave a nice comment. Please share. And if you want to hear more about what I do, then you can find all the things I do, all the videos, or the audio, or the writing work I do at christianschiller.com. So once again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week at 1600, that's 4 p.m. 16:30, 4:30 p.m. Central European Time, UTC +1.